I'm Dr. Vishnu Doerga, and today I'll be talking to you about our Growth Club, our quarterly planning session. And of course, I'm joined by the CEO of the Guyana Bank for Trade and Industry, better known as GBTI, Shawn Gurcharran. I must tell you that GBTI is the presenting sponsor of this quarterly plan. This is actually our 40th edition, so it's exactly 10 years of running quarterly planning sessions with businesses across the country. And it's really about time as well that we scale it up, and we're extremely delighted that GBTI not just continues to support a lot of companies in our country, but that you've also taken the initiative to help us scale the program so we can really reach to a lot more businesses who may be needing this. So just to kick us off, I would say, Shawn, welcome to this particular show, and then to also ask you, tell us a little bit about yourself and what does planning mean to you personally?
Sure. Thanks, first of all, for the opportunity to be here. And from a GBTI perspective, we're very happy to be part of this initiative. It's something that personally is very dear to my heart. Spinning off of some of the things that we're doing at the bank. Planning, for me personally, has always been key. My background has always been finance and accounting. And accountants generally like to plan for everything. So planning, I believe, is really essential to everything personally, what you try to accomplish at the start of a year, start of a decade. What are the things that you want to accomplish personally, professionally? And I believe that is very strategic in terms of your approach to everything that you do in life.
Very good. And we always want to make sure that people out there know that we're not just asking them to do something or creating the opportunity for them to do something that we don't do ourselves. So at GBTI, is there also a process of planning, and what does that look like?
Yeah, actually, it's very intense. We have various planning horizons. We would look 5 years out, 10 years out, 1 month out, 3 months out. A plan is just as good as how fast you can react and pivot as well. So as part of our planning process, we're always on top of what is happening around us, but you're always centered around a plan, a central plan. So whether it's a large institution, a small institution, planning has to be part and parcel of your modus operandi.
Yeah, and we always also say that even more important than the plan is actually the process of planning, because when you sit together and you listen to each other, that's when the magic can really happen.
You're so right. Most strategic plans, if you're looking at a 3 to 5 year horizon, it takes you almost a year to come up with it. And it's just a process of thinking, gathering information, gathering facts. And it's not just about having an idea, but it's taking that idea and putting it into a framework that really works and is geared towards achieving those objectives.
And of course, GBTI has come on as the presenting sponsor for our 40th planning session. What motivated the bank to support this initiative at the highest level?
I mean, first of all, I think congrats are in order to you and your team for this spectacular initiative, and it's now 10 years. This is your 40th session, so I think that is noteworthy, and congratulations and commendations. I think the objective of what the club intends to do is something that's very near and dear to our heart. We've worked with customers from across Guyana, across various stratas and sectors. And like you, we want to work with them to really understand what their thoughts are, what their ideas are, and help build a plan for them. So any initiative that really works with young entrepreneurs, new businesses, new startups, is something that we want to be a part of. Because yes, finance is essential to any plan that you have, but just as essential is having a plan. And financing that plan becomes a lot easier when there's a plan that we can see and we can work with you and help you grow.
I know in Guyana we love to make the banks the villain in most cases when we talk about access to finance. And I always have to remind them that the way a bank makes money is by actually lending out depositors' money and charging interest on it, and that's how they actually make their money. So it's not in your favor to not lend out money.
You're right. Banks get labeled the villains, but fundamentally, banks are in the business to lend the money. But we operate in a very regulated framework as well. Those lending must be done in such a way that when you present a plan and we want to lend against it, we must have some reasonable assurance that this venture will return a profit, it will return good returns on your investment, and you can service your debt. If it doesn't provide that level of assurance that we want, then it's not something that we can partner in. And I chose the word partner because many times we want our customers, our clients to understand that we are part and parcel of this journey that you're on. And the more you can share about your journey, and the best way to do that is plan, it becomes a lot easier for us to partner with you.
What would you say to folks who always have this kind of mindset of we'll go by the seat of our pants versus the mindset of I have a plan, I measure against it, I make my adjustments? How does a bank see these two? Because very often you know the guys, I know the guys and the girls who speak a lot, but when they say these numbers, they call these numbers, and you ask them, hey, drop in the plan or let's see the plan, how do you advise people like that?
If you look throughout history, there have been tremendous ideas, great ideas, but every idea without a plan is just that, it's an idea. And most ideas, are brilliant as they are, will fail because we haven't taken the time to put it down on paper in simple terms and understand, how do I bring this idea, how do I bring this to life? Many persons think it's automatic that I come into a financial institution, I have this idea, and we were to buy into the idea. Yes, we will to buy into the idea, but we need that plan. Can you jump into something without having a plan? Perhaps. But your chances of success grow tremendously when you sit down and you compose a plan. And planning is not just one-off. As we were talking earlier about how we plan at the bank, it is something that is continuous. As factors change, as the economy changes, and we're talking about Guyana and all that's happening, you have to be agile enough and be flexible enough that as factors are changing, you can adjust your plan accordingly. It could be better than you thought, or perhaps things aren't working out the way you want it to. You have a contingency, you have a backup. But planning is really essential in taking that idea, taking that dream, and converting it into value.
And one of the things that my coach always reminds me on is you cannot manage what you do not measure. If you don't know where you are, how are you going to make any kind of adjustments? And you did touch on the economy and the changes that have been taking place. Pre-2019, I would say, because in 2019 is when the oil production started, income really started to get into the hands of a lot of businesses. Right. We never really had the demand for all that we could do. That changed, and even COVID couldn't slow us down in the last 5 years. What are some of the mistakes you're seeing businesses make now that the demand is so high? What are some of the mistakes you see them making currently?
I think our generations and generations to come have a tremendous opportunity that really comes around once in a lifetime, where there's this tremendous economic explosion that is happening in our country. Some of the common mistakes that we're seeing, however, is persons, they want to take advantage of it, but they still want to operate the way we've operated 10 years ago. There's hesitancy to do a business plan, as we were talking about it. There's hesitancy to have proper records and proper accounting records. And they want to convert this idea into value. But the challenge is we have to do things in a way that shows a bit of organization. And instead, sometimes I think of yelling at the banks and yelling at the regulators. Perhaps it's important that we take the idea, take a step back, and add some flesh to the bones, as the saying goes, where we understand what is it we want to achieve and analyze the factors and analyze the environment that you want to operate. Analyze your competitors and understand how you do things. I remember in my early days of banking, there was a man that was importing plastic bags, and he said, you know what, I can do 10 times more the plastic bags and be successful. And I asked him a very simple question. What is your plan now to deliver 10 times more plastic bags? Yes, you can manage at the current levels that you are, but if you're going to grow 10 times in revenue, how are you going to logistically handle that? And the conversation went quiet. Yeah. So I think a lack of planning, a lack of critical thinking sometimes, and understanding that the stakeholders that you have to engage with aren't necessarily your enemies. They just want to be partners with you. And partners, a real true partner will ask you the right questions. A real true partner who wants your best to come out of you, like GBTI, will ask you the right questions, will help guide you along the way, and is not afraid sometimes to butt heads with you, but to ensure that whatever conflict there is, when you come out of it, you've produced something wonderful.
And I think for those of you who've never experienced coaching before, we just actually heard from Coach Shawn, because that is exactly what a coach does. Asks you critical questions that makes you think. Because yes, I can give you the money to bring 10 times the amount of bags. Which vehicle is going to transport you? They never asked me for the money for the vehicle, right? So then now you're going to have a whole warehouse full of bags and nothing to move it around with. So I think if you meet with a business owner, and I have these conversations very often, but how do you see a business owner coming to you, especially as a banker, where this business owner has one set of financials that they submitted to you, maybe even a proposal they submitted to you, telling you about these numbers that they're doing. When you check in the bank account, you don't see half of that money showing up in the bank account. You say, all right, let me verify things. Show me your tax return. They submit that to you. So a whole set is even lower numbers than what you have in the bank. And still they want to guarantee you that this business that they're going to do is going to be successful. How do you, first of all, when people bring that to you, what goes on in your mind, and what would you say to them now?
I think, unfortunately, sometimes persons we don't understand how integrated the systems can be, and there's a motivation to do things necessarily that are not above the board, and you end up with a multiple set of financial statements that you're talking about. And one of the things in our adjudication and due diligence that we do is to make sure what you're saying to us really all ties together. So you can't tell me on your financial statements, oh, I did 10 million in sales, but in your bank account you see 1 million, and then in your returns we see 2 million or half a million. It must all come together, because understand, at some point in time, these things catch up with you, and the regulators, after a while, will audit you. And what happens to the banks? What happens to the other partners that you have? We'll end up holding the short end of the stick. So what we've been doing is encouraging our clients that, hey, get your affairs in order. You got to be transparent. You must have integrity in the business that you're doing, because in the same way that you may try to cheat the regulators or cheat the level of taxes that you're paying, the same way as a finance provider, if something goes wrong, you may also tend to want to move away from that obligation you have. So in credit, we look at 5 C's, and one of the critical C's is your character. So if you're willing to do illegal things to evade taxes, then it's quite possible you will do the wrong things to avoid paying me as well.
Yeah. And even another layer that I just now remembered is credit info, because sometimes I tell them, even before we start working with them, submit your credit report, and they come to me very, very cautiously, showing me that, hey, they didn't realize that this was outstanding here.
Yeah, and that is something we encourage our clients all the time as well. Keep tab on your credit score, and sometimes even the system is still growing. There's still kinks that we need to work out. It might be an error in somebody submitting inaccurate data for you, but it's important that you keep on top of your credit score. Make sure any queries that you have, you reconcile it, you remediate it, because your credit score really affects your ability to get loans from the bank. If your credit score is bad, it affects our view on you and the proposed venture that you have.
Let's turn a little bit to GBTI. And when people hear about the bank, they might think, oh wait, that's where I can save money. Or if I need a mortgage, that's where I go to the bank, or maybe I need a vehicle. When it comes to especially the business owners who will be attending, the 100+ business owners that will be attending the session on Saturday, June 28th, and at the Pegasus Exhibition Center, very close to your head office as well. So when we're talking to them specifically, what are some of these solutions, some of the products that GBTI has that helps a growing company, a company that's really focused on developing themselves, to really make use of?
Yeah, so GBTI, our name as it means, is Guyana Bank for Trade and Industry. And we've always been very closely associated with enterprise and business and corporations and production. So when we looked at what was happening in Guyana, we see the established businesses were really booming and doing exceptionally well, and we look forward to partnering with them about new ventures they want to do. But I believe there was another section of the population that needed support. And we came up with an initiative called GROW, GBTI GROW, which is a section where we're targeting specifically small, micro, small and medium-sized enterprises. that are different from an established business. Their needs are different. Their level of maturity in business is different. It's really in its infancy stage. What growth tries to do is work with these small businesses and guide them along that path from idea, plan to value. We have a team of advisors that are willing to work with you, listen to you, understand what you're trying to do. We will guide you. From time to time, we may say, hey, you know what, you might need an accountant here, or you might need some legal advice here. And we put you on to trusted partners that we have within our ecosystem. And we work along with you to really get this proposal, this idea you have to a proposal and a plan that we can then partner with you and be a partner in terms of financing, allocating resources to you and watch your business grow. With all that's happening in Guyana, businesses that took 5 years to turn things around or 5 years to turn a profit, you can do that now in 2 years. It's a tremendous economic opportunity, and persons should really be looking more to enterprise as a way of generating wealth and value in their lives.
Earlier this year, I attended the launch of one of your latest products that is very well suited to the emerging industry. Right. I would really like you to touch a little bit on it and maybe explain it in a way that business people who might be already servicing the oil and gas industry, right, that they can understand it. Because I think sometimes because it's so new, they don't know yet even what to ask for when they show up at the branch.
Sure. So earlier, as Doc was mentioning, we launched this year invoice financing, which is a really simple product. So let's say you're a producer of a good or a service and you work along with the oil industry and you will deliver that good or service. Many times those companies, they have a payment period that ranges from 30 to 90 days. But you as a small business, that payment cycle might not meet your needs. What we do, we say, hey, come into us, bring that invoice that you've had for a product that you have supplied to somebody in the oil and gas sector. And we are looking to expand that as well. And we can actually lend you money against it. It can be up to 90%. We look at all the factors and we can advance you money on it. And that payment comes to the bank when the oil industry, when the entity from the oil and gas sector is ready to pay you. So that's simply what it is. We take an invoice for something that you have done or a service that you have completed, and we lend you against it. And when that payment comes through, it's liquidated and then you go.
And this is available at all locations?
At all locations. All our loan officers are very aware of what the product is. We're seeing some good feedback on it. Persons are understanding the business and what it brings to them, because it allows you, if you get money on day 2 instead of day 90, you can then go again in that cycle. You can make another supply to another company, and you can keeping your engines of your enterprise going.
And I know that, just for clarity, I know that when it was launched, it was really proposed as a solution that helps in the oil and gas industry. Let's say I'm also a contractor with the government, I have fixed payments, or maybe I'm in the rice industry, right, I have fixed payments. Is that a solution that could be used there?
It can be. We tend not to say no. We want to look at it, and whatever it is, bring it in. Let's have a look at it. Let's understand the whole entire ecosystem that you're operating, whether it be rice, whether it be a government contract. Let's understand what you do, who you're doing with, understand your partners, and let's see how we can be able to support you.
Very good. So in preparation, we have about 50 companies who have been participating in the planning process for, I would say, at least 5 years. Right. And these companies are some of the biggest names now in Guyana. And one of the big reasons for us actually making this move now to scale up is our conference rooms, which we've been doing it at for 10 years, can't accommodate the number of people anymore. So that's one of the reasons why we decided, okay, we can't keep cramming people into our conference room. So we're now moving it to the next level. The 50 that are usually participating, they're masters at it. They love it, they enjoy the day, they're all friends, they do business with each other. Then the 50 that are going to be joining, we'll send them guidance on how to prepare. But based on your experience, what you've been doing over the past 2 decades as well of your career, if you had to give some people advice, maybe they've never done planning before, they heard that GBTI is on board, OneCom is on board, Dave's Promotional, quite a lot of sponsors are also on board. What advice can you give someone who's never really sat down and taken a day to just sit and plan out the next 90 days? Because that's what we're doing for the day. What advice would you give them? What should they do in preparation?
I think information is key. We started out by talking about an idea. And these new entrepreneurs, I'm certain, have wonderful ideas. What I would recommend is gather as much information you can around that idea, that business thought, that business idea that you have. Understand who are the key stakeholders, who are going to be your customers, who are going to be your suppliers. Understand pricing, how it operates. Understand what it takes for you to get that product or service from you to that intended customer that you have. Gather as much information as you can. You know, there's a plethora of information available. If you use engines like all the AI engines, it's incredible the amount of information that is at your disposal. Gather as much information as you can. Start out with that idea, gather as much information as you can. Understand the market that you're entering into. And then when it comes to that date, and you have to put that plan into place, you will be in a position where you have the idea, you have the information, you know what your objective is, and it's just really now putting in plan is how do I go about achieving this goal or objective that I have.
One of the great things as well is that we have 4 business coaches. They'll be not just facilitating the session, but also roaming the room and helping every company. We use a lot of technology, so your plan goes into a digital format that can be shared with your team. I know that this time around, we will have GBTI coaches there as well. We know that we'll have members of your team as well. And as part of our collaboration, we know that the financially oriented questions, members who are present, the 100+ companies, you'll also have access to talk directly to the bank. The bank is going to be sitting right there, ask them about the solutions they have. And I really would like to thank you for bringing that to the table.
Sure. No, listen, it's a venture that we're really excited to be a part of. And I know the team is working hard to pull together the information, pull together how we're going to present it. Because we really believe in Guyana. Our tagline, and I'm plugging GBTI of course, is we see Guyana through your eyes. And we're vested in this. And it's not just about showing up, but it's making an impact and making a difference in the lives of these people. Our dreams are real. We can take those dreams, those ideas, and help you turning them into value. And not just value for you and your immediate family, but generations to come. So our role in this is really just facilitate, talk to you, share with you our knowledge that we have as part of your process of coming up with your plan, and hopefully partner with some of you and really elevate your lives and help you generate wealth for yourself and your family.
I can really sense the passion, and even this morning in our own team meeting, we had the discussion. We have so many sections of our own business where we work with micro and small enterprises. The section that I work in is really corporate, the larger companies who are doing 100, 200 million, maybe 400 million. And then the first goal in the first year or two is to get them to $1 billion and then to start doubling up after that. That's the part of the business that I focus on. And I had a discussion with one of the coaches, and he was talking about, these folks are focused on the money. I told them, that's good, that's the easy part. I get really passionate with the amount of people that they employ and the gainful employment as well. And even if they were doing something sideways, they know I don't work with anybody. If you don't commit to getting yourself sorted in a year or 2 years max, I will not work with you. But when you see the amount of jobs that these businesses create, good employment, families taken care of, they pay their taxes, so our roads and our bridges and all the public services can also be improved. That's what really drives us.
It's sometimes it's a little conundrum, and people don't realize if you do things the right way, you're a lot more resilient as a business. You're a lot more, there's continuity in what you want to do. And sometimes the things that we try to do, it's really short-termism. But if you really want to build value and generate value for your family, your families to come, do things the right way.
So from a big picture, and again, finally as well, we went through a lot of detail, really good information as well. How does GBTI view its role to shape Guyana's future as a competitive and resilient business economy? What can we expect from GBTI in the short, but also in the long term?
Yep. We are a financing partner. If we don't work with businesses, we have nothing to do. If we don't work with individuals, we have nothing to do. So we view our role as very key in terms of national development and international development. We believe that there's enough talent in Guyana, there's enough resources, there are enough ideas that really can see this country explode, and not just explode in the next 5 years, but explode for the entire generation. But with that comes a sense of responsibility to ensure that even in explosive growth and all the good things that are happening, that it is sustainable, it is resilient. And I believe having a financing partner, especially banks, it provides a level of discipline to enterprises and entrepreneurs that is much needed. When you're new, sometimes your enthusiasm can also hurt you because you go off on these crazy ideas and you need a partner who's willing to keep you within the confines of what is reasonable and what is sustainable. So at GBTI, yes, we want to partner with you. We want to help you to build your home. We want to help you get that first car. We want to help you with your business. Whatever it is your dream, whatever is your idea, we want to be part and parcel of that. But understand that comes with certain responsibilities on your side and responsibilities on our side. And I believe as we continue to collaborate with Guyanese and businesses all across this country, we'll begin to see the benefits of working together collaboratively, working together with a common goal and a common objective. In a partnership, both persons have to benefit. You as an individual, you want to enhance your livelihood, we want to be part of that. And from our side, we are also a business, so we want to generate wealth for ourselves and our stakeholders as well. So our key thing, short term, long term, is to continue to look at what's happening on the economy, get feedback, understand what is needed, and provide those types of products that people need to really enhance and generate value in their lives.
Well, thank you. I'd really like to thank you for taking the time out and really providing this information. It makes me, remember we just expanded to Suriname in 2021, 2 locations there now. We also expanded to the US, so we also have our US company. And when I was there for the bank accounts and all of that, the business officer, you actually have to make an appointment to meet with him if you want to see him in the bank. If not, their job is going out to businesses and talking to them and understanding what's happening. And I see that that is also something that you are willing to do. When I reached out to you, within a matter of minutes, you understood where we were going and you're on board. And even asking you to just have a chat with the viewing audience, the interested business owners, it was very easy as well to get this done. So thanks a lot.
No problem. I'm happy to be here. We're happy to be a part of this thing because, as you rightfully said, we can only work with what we know. If you were to stay in our offices, we'll never understand what's happening on the ground. So our team, we're very keen on getting out, talking to people, understanding what's going on, how we can be a part of it, and how we can all work together and generate value.
Very good. So if you want to be able to benefit from the session on Saturday, June 28th, the Growth Club, the quarterly planning session that happens 4 times a year, always in the week before the new quarter starts, so that you head into the new quarter with a complete plan. I'm going to ask you to click on the link that you see near the video, get registered. We have about 20 spots remaining. You will be in the hands of very competent business coaches. You'll be in the hands of our GBTI coaches who will be providing you with guidance, financial insight, and the products that they can possibly support you with. The event will be held at the Pegasus Exhibition Center. It is Saturday from 8:30 to 4, so it's a full day. You need to show up with, as Shawn mentioned, walk with your last financials or the best that you can pull together, because I know some even medium-sized companies don't track their numbers as clearly as they need to. Walk with the numbers you have, walk with maybe a catalog, a product catalog, the profile of the business you actually have, and the products that you actually sell. Because guess what? You'll be sitting with some 50 of the veteran companies who've been doing this for 5 to 10 years. They themselves, I found, are some of the absolute best coaches, because they look at you and say, hey, have you considered doing this? So you'll get so much value there. Meals and beverages and materials all provided thanks to the team at GBTI as well. So all you need to do is to make sure that you get registered, experience this for yourself, and really get ready for growth. Thank you very much.